Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. Today I've got a very nice thing to share with you guys. I want to let you guys all know that the average AoE2 player is really good. Like very good. In fact, maybe even too good. Now when I say it like that, something sounds ominous about that. It sounds like there's something bad going on here behind the scenes. And honestly, the statement that the average AoE2 player is too good or is really good or whatever, I don't think this is necessarily a problem in of itself. But the way it's applied and the way our ranked system works or our online system works in general ends up making it kind of a bad thing, or at the very least it has negative repercussions. And that's the bulk of this video, and that's what I want to talk about here. But to start, I want to first establish that the average AoE2 player is in fact getting better, and I think this is something that is extremely obvious if you've been involved in the community in any capacity over the last 4.5 years since the release of Definitive Edition. But if you guys haven't been as active in the community, I'll give you guys a few points to kind of back up this claim that I've had from first-hand experience being very involved in the community myself, doing a lot of coaching and rec reviews at various elos, and I've definitely noticed it a trend that the average AoE2 player has gotten way better over the last few years. Like for example, the 1000 elos of today compared to the 1000 elos of 4.5 years ago is absolutely night and day. The 1000 elo of today can easily do a Dark Age pretty well and has a solid grasp of the basics of the game. A 1300 of today already knows the basics extremely well and is already starting to micro and to do build orders and all that. 1600 elo players have strong openings, can micro attack very well, and a 1900 player has insane mechanics, like off the chart mechanics. And this was not the case 4.5 years ago. 4.5 years ago, a 1000 elo player was doing all kinds of weird stuff and they weren't really understanding the game at a very high capacity. They were more or less, what I'd consider a beginner, a true beginner. But the 1000 elo of today, I don't consider that a true beginner, not even close. And I see this happening all over the community, by the way. In fact, I got a comment on YouTube, a few days ago or something like that, and I immediately screenshotted it because I've seen exactly the sentiment being complained about on Reddit like 20 times. Shout out to the guys on Reddit that are complaining about going 0-20 on ranked ladder, but this is a very real thing. And from YouTube, this guy named Wondrous Logic dropped a comment, and honestly, it's a very positive comment with a really good ending, so shout out to this guy. I'll put it up on the screen if you guys want to pause and read the whole thing so you guys can check it out. But if you don't want to read the whole thing, basically it just says that he's been watching my videos and he wanted to play, and so he recently started playing some ranked games and he started out going 0-20, which wasn't a bad thing for him. The bad part wasn't just losing, it was getting his butt whooped bad. His words, not mine. And he was about to quit and go back to playing campaigns, but he just wanted to win one game. He just wanted to prove to himself that he can win, and after a while he actually won a ranked game, and it took him some studying and whatnot, and he felt great about that. So big shout out to this guy for pushing through. He actually dedicated the win to me, but I'm going to dedicate it right back to him. Respect for that dedication to go and push for that one win. But it got me thinking, a lot of people out there are not like Wondrous Logic. My viewers are built different, but you know what I mean? Like, he pushed through to get that one win, but a lot of players very naturally would quit after just a few losses. And this is of course completely understandable, because who wants to get into a new game and just lose with no explanation, by the way, like get destroyed and you just don't even understand why you lost or how you lost, and have that happen multiple times in a row, up until 10-20 times in a row. The logical thing to do in most of those cases is simply quit, because you just don't have any better solution. You're probably not going to have fun losing and getting destroyed. You're going to feel like everyone is way too good, and you're not going to even have a chance at a proper ranked experience. And so this is the main topic of the video. It's the fact that the 1000 elo is not beginner level. It is maybe considered the average AoE2 level currently, maybe by statistics, I'm not even sure, but 1000 elo is not beginner. However, they start everyone at 1000 elo, and I think those two things at the same time is definitely kind of problematic. And the thing about Age of Empires 2 is that a 1000 elo compared to a beginner or a new player, like a brand new player, is arguably a bigger gap compared to me in a 1600. And I'm pretty sure this is exactly what's happening, because a 1000 elo, like take your most hard stuck 1000 elo, we're talking 5000 games, he hasn't broken 1100 yet, your most hard stuck 1000 elo player, and he will understand what units do, what upgrades do. He'll understand how to get the feudal age and castage at a reasonable time, and he'll understand how to win games. But a new player barely understands how to gather resources and what buildings do, how to even get the feudal age, let alone get the feudal age fast. A new player is completely lost, even if they've done some Art of War missions and some campaigns, which I agree it's been a huge step, and I acknowledge it's been a huge step forward to giving people a chance to get better before hopping into rank. So I do appreciate the Art of War in particular, something we've gotten recent with DE. But even if they've done a few of those missions, missions, I don't think they're quite ready to take on the 1000 elos of today. I just simply don't think that's the case. And so I think what's happening is that a lot of players try out ranked, end up losing a bunch of games and just saying, hey, listen, this is just not for me. I'm going to go back to having more fun and playing campaigns. And this isn't necessarily, again, a bad thing, because AoE2 has always been a game that's based around campaigns, based around nostalgia, based around childhood, based around all those things that it just a more casual environment. The ranked or the competitive side of AoE2, although it's been flourishing over the last few years, has always been a smaller segment. And even like the most recent numbers I've heard is that the ranked or the online players represent only 10% of all AoE2 active players, which just goes to show how many people are just playing campaigns and then turning their game off. They don't check out anyone on YouTube and all that. Their AoE2 experience ends with single player, which is completely fine. But again, I do think it's good to build more bridges between the campaign players and the online players, or at the very least make it easier to jump into ranked without having to go 0-20 and without having to face these very strong average AoE2 players and just getting absolutely demolished as a new player. And the worst part about this setup that we have currently is the fact that it's really easy to get demotivated and it's really hard to see the light at the end of the tunnel. It's gotten so hard that honestly, I'm not even sure if there is light at the end of the tunnel, because what I would say to these people and what I have been saying is like, listen, you're going to lose at first, push through those losses. But who wants to push through 5, 10, 20 losses and just drop all the way to 500 elo only to have to grind back up to 1000 elo? I would say that the people willing to do that, especially if you have limited free time to play a game, I think it's a very small percentage of players that would spend that limited free time trying to grind ranked and grind back up from 500 elo all the way back up to 1000 elo after going on a huge loss streak. And so even if you do grind back up from like 500 elo wherever you drop to after the loss streak and you start winning games and getting some equal and some fair matches, you know, you've already sunk a good amount of time into the game to only now start getting some wins or start getting some good feelings from playing the game. And I'm not saying you only get good feelings when you win. Obviously, sometimes even if you lose, you probably still had a good time, you know, you still had some fun. But I would say there's a big difference between losing and getting destroyed. And also, these players don't really understand why they're losing because they don't have that concept or that understanding of the game. Like if I go out and I lose a game, even if I lose 10 or 20 in a row, I'd at least understand why I lost all of them. And the worst I'll be is tilted, but I wouldn't be demoralized or discouraged from playing again because I understand what happened. Whereas these guys, the new players, they don't know what's happening. They don't know if it's going to continue happening or if it's going to stop at some point. They don't really understand what exactly is going on. But obviously from the outside looking in, we clearly understand what's going on. We understand that 1000 elo is not beginner at all. 1000 elo might be average, but it's actually a very solid level of AoE2. And the vast majority of campaign and single player enjoyers are way less and way lower skilled than 1000 elo. So in conclusion, we have a very weird setup where players going into ranked are facing a very uphill battle. And I would say that the vast majority probably try it out and simply get discouraged and go back to what they were doing before. And honestly, I've done some thinking and I think the best solution, because you could lower the threshold, you know, you start at 500 elo and you go up, but the problem with that is that you might not have that many players at 500 elo right off the bat, so it could be hard to make that change a reality. And over time, even if you did that, 500 elo would become the new 1000 elo in a few years. So it's not exactly the best solution, albeit a decent place to start. I have another solution that I think would actually bring a lot of excitement back, but it would make a lot of people salty. So you guys probably aren't ready for this conversation, but I think the solution is a ranked reset every year. Make the game into seasons where you have a season, it resets. The pros will do like a race to 2k or whatever, and you can even start handing out rewards to people who got 1400 elo, people who broke 1600, whatever the case may be. You can hand out rewards so people don't feel like all their work they put in of grinding is for a waste. They can at least show it off, that kind of stuff. But you make a ranked reset to make sure that the beginner elo is always that beginner elo, and you can start it off quite low, and so the players will play and get better and climb elo, but you won't have the elo inflation that's currently taking place. I'm not sure if the solution fixes everything, but I do think it's something interesting to consider. And it also fixes the problem of people, you know, going away at 1600, coming back a couple years later and not being able to win. If you do the resets often enough, they're at least starting back from a reasonable elo, and they have to kind of earn their way back up. And it could add a lot more life to the rank ladder as well, instead of people just getting to a certain elo and camping it. Again, I'm not sure if this fixes everything, but that's one solution that I'm proposing. Let me know what you guys think. I think this is a very interesting topic and definitely one worth tackling as a whole. I've already spoken about what I'd love to see as far as like integrating more friend options and more interesting features that allows you to communicate with people in game. But even if you don't have that, I'd at least like to see a better ranked system to where people can come in and enjoy the game and not just go 0-20 and quit which is basically the setup we have currently. Thank you so much for watching. Again, let me know in the comments what you think about this, what you think about my solution, any other solutions you propose. This is just kind of something I've noticed. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. If you guys want more content from me, check out my Twitch for my live streams and my Patreon for my exclusive guides and content. Links to both in the description below. Thanks so much for watching and have a great rest of your day. Peace.